You don't realize when you're in the middle of a run of 3 out of 4 championships that, man, this is pretty special. Because as an athlete and as a competitor, it's always the next week, the next game, the next practice, the next meeting. That's how we always thought about it. So looking back onto those 3 championship teams, 01, 03, 04, there are certain things that I learned from those championship seasons that I'll take with me for the rest of my life that helped me be a better person and a better teammate. In 2001, I think that's when the New England Patriots truly became a team.
Talk to me about your favorites. Talk to me about your favorites, because yeah, just talk to me about
under.
Love under, okay.
I like sticks.
Okay.
I like double seam. I
All
like
right.
10 seam.
Okay.
I don't like 68 swing.
Okay.
I don't like 58 quick out.
Okay.
How do you really prove that to yourself? Prove that to yourself, to the organization you work for, to your team. There was one player that taught me this, that taught all of us what it was like to be unselfish. And his name was Drew Bledsoe. Does anyone remember that name? Because there were quarterbacks that played for New England before Tom Brady.
You just want to throw so you can get on TV, huh?
Yeah.
There were. And Drew Bledsoe, if you remember, was the franchise. He had every passing record, touchdown, probably every interception record too. But had every passing record there was, right? But there was a game versus the New York Jets in which Drew dropped back to pass and he rolled out to his right. And there was a Jet linebacker. Anybody remember that name? Mo Lewis. Now Drew was never the most fleet of foot. He wasn't the best athlete, so I remember being on the sideline just like this. Get out of bounds, Drew. Get out of bounds. Get out of bounds. Get out of bounds. Bam! Here came Mo Lewis, knocked him out on the ground. And I said, Drew, that's not the way I wanted you to get out of bounds. But Drew ended up being hurt, and in comes Tom Brady, right? And everyone knows how that story goes. But what happened to the guy that was on the ground? What happened to Drew Bledsoe? This is what people forget. Drew Bledsoe had to rehabilitate himself from serious injuries to get back to play football. And when he came back to football, he was told by his boss, Bill Belichick, we don't need you anymore. How would you take that?
Coach Belichick just said, hey, Tom is our quarterback for the rest of the season. That's final.
That's what Mr. Kraft's paying me to do, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make the decisions that I think are the best for the football team. T-E-A-M as in team.
If you're a part of a corporation, a business, you're gone because you're sick for a couple weeks and you come back expecting to do the exact same thing you did when you left, and your boss tells you, stand to the side. We've got this other kid now that we think is going to do a better job. What would you do? Would you quit? Would you think about quitting? That'd be a tough situation to face. And that's what Drew Bledsoe was in. But Drew decided to be a good teammate to Tom Brady and help mold him into a quarterback that helped us win a world championship. Now, of course, this was tough for Drew. I was a good friend of Drew, and yes, he did think about quitting. He did think about all the things that he had done for the organization and wondered why he wasn't getting the opportunity to play again, but he continued to be unselfish. And it's funny how things work out for people who do the right thing for their team, for their business, for their organization. AFC Championship game versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. What happened to Tom Brady? Tom Brady went down with a sprained ankle.
And Brady's down. Brady is down in the backfield.
Oh, boy.
Well, it was actually the 3rd time that game that the same ankle got hit.
In came Drew Bledsoe. Drew Bledsoe led us to the Super Bowl that year in the AFC Championship game. Yeah. Who did he throw the touchdown pass to? Yeah, very good. Yes, I knew Lowell was good. I knew it. But that's an example of being unselfish in a time of stress that I took with me. And Drew moved on to Buffalo, to Dallas. But that lesson stayed with a lot of the players in that locker room. So when it happened to us, and there was someone else that came in that was supposed to help us and maybe take some plays away from us, it was okay. Because it was all about winning. Because of that lesson Drew taught us. Also in 01, there was a moment that I'll never forget. And that was the pre-game team introductions before the Super Bowl. I think that was a moment where we showed the entire world what we meant. Now, let me tell you what the most exhilarating thing as an NFL player is. One of the most exhilarating things is that pregame introduction. When you're in that helmet and they announce your name, they announce your college, they announce your position, you have your helmet off and you run out. It's sort of like individual validation. Tedy Bruschi, linebacker from the University of Arizona, number 54, and then you run out. It's sort of like your moment, a moment you never have in team sport to really get validation that I've made it. Multiply that by like 1,000, and that's the Super Bowl. That's the Super Bowl introductions. And we told the networks all that week that we would not do that, that we wanted to forego that and be introduced as a team. And they sort of didn't believe us. And we were in the tunnel. I remember the guy with the headset on, he says, guys, they're still coming out as a team. We better do something about this. They're still coming out as a team. Because no one had ever done that before. And I remember, I think it was Pat Summerall who had the call. Here are your AFC champion New England Patriots who wish to be introduced as a team. The first time that had ever been done in the Super Bowl. And we were introduced. And that's the first time I really felt shock in the stadium that they really couldn't believe that we would put the team first in that setting. I looked over to the St. Louis Rams players, and they had that look like, man, we should have thought of that. We should have thought of that. Being unselfish and putting the team first. That's what I remember about 01.